Hello, welcome back. The last session you saw how we post the journal entries. Here we learned to post them into ledger. You saw the journal entries the last session. You need to post those entries after you have passed in journal into respective ledger accounts. Now let us see how to post them into ledger accounts. Each of these accounts will have a separate ledger that shows all the transactions with respect to that account. This ledger account is in the form of T. It has two sides to it, the left-hand side and the right-hand side. The left-hand side is the debit side, the right-hand side is the credit side. Each of these sides will have three parts. One is the date. Date is the date of entry that you're passing. Particulars. Particulars means the account that needs to be debited or credited, and the amount. If it is on the left-hand side, it's the debit, and if it is on the right-hand side, it's the credit. So this is how you open a ledger account. Hello. Let's do the first transaction and post them into the ledger account. Remember, the ledger account is in the form of T, horizontal and the vertical. And you have date, particulars, and rupees on either side of it. The left-hand side is the debit side. The right-hand side is the credit side. The first transaction you have is started business with cash of rupees 20,000. When you pass the journal entry, it said cash account debit to capital account. You have a cash account here. This is the debit side. You need to debit cash account with capital account. The date is on the 1st of January. You write to capital. The amount would be 20,000. This would be the posting of the first half of the transaction. Next half would be the capital account. You have introduced cash to capital. The right-hand side is the credit. You have debited the cash account. Here you need to credit the capital account with cash. 1. You wrote 2 here. This would be buy. Whenever you're crediting, it's always buy. If you're debiting, it's 2. You need to write buy cash 20,000. So this is how you post a journal entry into ledger account. The left-hand side is debit, right-hand side is credit. If it is being debited, we should write 2 capital. Here, in this case, it's 2 capital. If you're crediting, it should be buy. In this case, it's buy cash. This is how you post the journal into ledger. The second transaction states that you paid money into the bank. You paid an amount of 10,000 rupees. The 2 accounts that are involved here are bank and cash. If you remember, the journal entry that we passed was bank account debit to cash account. Here you have a bank account. Your bank is receiving, so you need to debit. Debit is on the left-hand side. You need to write it as the date of this is on the 2nd of January to cash. The amount is 10,000. Come to the cash account. Here you debited on the bank account. Here you need to credit the cash account with bank. If you're crediting, it should be by bank. The amount would be the same, which is 10,000. So this is how we post this transaction into ledger. The next transaction states bought goods from Ramesh and company. Remember, the name of the person is given if it is a credit transaction. You have purchased goods, but you have not yet paid. You have received goods in the form of purchases. The 2 accounts that should be involved in this transaction are purchases account and Ramesh account. Because you are yet to pay Ramesh, he becomes your creditor. If you check the journal entry for this. It should be purchases account debit to Ramesh account. The same way that you need to post here is the left hand side is debit, right hand side is credit. You have purchased goods from Ramesh. You need to debit purchases account. This happens on the 3rd of January. Purchases account debit to Ramesh. The amount is 5,000. Come to Ramesh account. You need to credit his account with purchases. The same date. But by purchases. $5,000. You started off with purchases account, you debited with Ramesh, open a Ramesh account, you credited with purchases with the same amount. This means you bought goods from Ramesh on credit and he is your creditor. You need to pay him. This is the posting of the ledger of this transaction. The next transaction states that sold goods to Rajesh for rupees 4,000 on the 5th of January. The two accounts that are involved would be Rajesh and sales. Goods are going out in the form of sales. So you should credit sales account. Credit that goes out. You are selling the goods to Rajesh on credit. He has not yet paid. He is supposed to pay you. He'll pay you on a later date. So you need to debit Rajesh account and credit sales account. This happens on the 5th of January. Rajesh account debit to sales. So here you write by Rajesh. Amount is 4,000. And in the Rajesh account, the same date, you debit Rajesh account with sales. The amount will be the same, which is 4,000. So this transaction has two accounts as usual. You have sold goods on credit to Rajesh. He has received the goods. The goods have gone out. Rajesh is yet to pay you. Since it's a credit transaction, his name is written Rajesh account debit to sales account. Just post that entry in the ledger account. This sums up this transaction. So you have seen how to post this transaction into ledger. Once you have done this, you need to close this ledger balance. Now, how would you do it? Here, the debit side is more. The debit side should be equal to the credit side. So if there are no further transactions on this account, you could go to the last day of that month. Then you should write by balance carried down and write the same amount. So the balance as per the debit side is equal to the balance as per the credit side. So this will end this account. You should also remember, once you have closed this account on the 31st, the next month you should bring it down because this account is still operative. So on the 1st of the next month, you could write to balance brought down. You're bringing this balance to this line, write it as 4,000. This is how you close this account. Coming to the sales part, you have credited sales account with Rajesh. The same thing you need to do here. On 31st of that month, you say to balance carried down 4,000. This would end this. Bring it down next day. Say by balance carried down 4,000. For each of these accounts, you need to close and open. You should also remember that not all accounts will have a closing and opening balance. If you have sales of 4,000, if he has already paid for which this 4,000, you write by cash 4,000. So this 4,000 and 4,000 gets cancelled. So you'll no longer have a balance. So not all accounts will have a balance. Based on the transactions, you need to open and close the accounts. So this is how you post the journal entries into ledgers. Debit side on the left-hand side, credit side on the right-hand side. Based on the transactions that you have, you could have a closing balance on the debit or the credit. If that account has been cleared, if the payment has been made, you need not have any closing balance. That would be a zero balance account. So this was about the ledger, how you post these entries from the journal. So next, we will take up a chapter called Bank Reconciliation Statement. Thanks for watching.